Hey everybody, welcome back to ICO or No. This is Jeremy with Blockchain WTF, here today to go over an ICO that pulled in a whopping $232 million in a matter of hours. Tezos. The ICO already went down, but we'll run through our normal questions to get you up to speed on the project. So that brings us to our first question. What is the Tezos project and what problem does it hope to solve? Tezos isn't just a new cryptocurrency, but it's a whole blockchain-based platform that claims to be self-amending. The project is a DAO which executes smart contracts in its own unique language, all while checking the validity of those contracts. Tezos isn't just a new cryptocurrency, but it's a whole new blockchain-based platform that claims to be self-amending. The project is a DAO that can execute smart contracts in its own unique language, all while checking the validity of those contracts. That brings us to our second question. What are the market conditions facing Tezos, and what is the viability of the project? At first glance, it might be kind of difficult to tell the difference between the Tezos project and Ethereum. The main difference is that Tezos aims to focus on the validity of smart contracts, making sure that the code is secure and correct. However, it's important to note that many issues with smart contracts don't necessarily come from bad code, but rather the unintended and unforeseen consequences of good code being misapplied. I think it's pretty clear that Tezos is trying to become a better version of the Ethereum project, which is a pretty tall order considering the established foothold Ethereum already has on the market. And that grip just gets solidified every single time an emerging project with potential decides to use Ethereum's technology. A major issue that many projects face is how to increase scaling to meet ever-growing demand. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum have had to face this problem head-on, which is why I was kind of disappointed when I looked at Tezos' plans for scaling, which were largely incomplete and left much to be desired. Several keywords used by the Tezos project allude to a real-life historic experiment that disproved the concept of physical ether. We get it, they're your main competition, but even that seems a little bit petty. It's really important to be aware of the actions of your competition, but at a certain point it becomes counterproductive. Instead of spending all your time thinking about what they're doing, it might just make more sense to focus on your project and making it the best possible. With that wrapped up, that brings us to question 3. Who is behind the Tezos project? A lot of these projects are trying to make themselves more accessible by creating their own Slack channels, a place where people that are interested in the project can come and learn, ask questions, or receive general announcements about the ICO. It's a great way to get to know the team behind the project, and I've actually learned a lot from hanging out in different projects' Slack channels. And this is why I was so disappointed when I checked out Tezos' Slack channel. What could have been an informative, beneficial discussion about the project had completely devolved into chaos. And it's really hard to blame anybody but the creators of the project. Instead of answering legitimate questions, the creators of the project chose to belittle and demean anybody who voiced completely valid concerns. It got so bad that multiple Redditors described being afraid to post in the Slack channel out of fear that they would just be ridiculed. I want to note that the Slack channel has since been shut down and completely wiped because of excessive spam and phishing attacks, which I found to be an odd excuse because I've seen Slack used to effectively combat both of those problems. To me, it just seems like a convenient excuse to get rid of some prior conversations that you're not so proud of. With that out of the way, that brings us to our fourth question. What is the design of the ICO? Since the Tezos ICO has already occurred, we'll spare you the minute details and let you know what went down at the time of the ICO. Unfortunately, Tezos opted for an uncapped ICO, or as I like to call it, grab as much money as I can because it might be my last chance. Some of these numbers that ICOs are bringing in are simply ridiculous. For context, in Silicon Valley, any project that received $50 million in funding, that probably lasts them about 5 to 10 years. These ICOs are bringing in 5 times that, all for projects that are underdeveloped and far away from the market. I get why they opted for this ICO. Most people will take as much in as funding as people are willing to give. However, some members of the community have labeled this as greedy and irresponsible. Another bit of info that has been floating around the crypto space is that Tezos, which raised part of its funds in Ether, is selling off its competitors' currencies in chunks in order to devalue it. At best, this is a questionable practice, which just shows me that Tezos might be too concerned with their competitors when they should be focusing their efforts on bringing their project to market. So there you have it. That's our review about the Tezos ICO. Definitely some controversy surrounding the project. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and also subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any upcoming ICO or no's. This has been Jeremy from Blockchain WTF. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.